Hey, how you doing? Welcome to another time out here, another time at the book club. Thanks for coming. Get to do this every Sunday here, and we're presently on our fifth book in the series, and it's Bethenny Frankel's book, "Business is Personal." I have the privilege of someone who just released a book, I believe this past week. He wrote a book, "It's Not Personal," and he kind of sent me an advanced copy to review. I'm going to review that, but I've been pretty busy recently. But once I can free up my schedule, I need to review that. And maybe while doing this, might be some things we can bring up, while reviewing, while going through Bethenny's book, from that other book, the new book that just came out this past week. And I have the privilege of an advanced copy of that. So we'll hopefully get to that also, see what we can learn from that as we read through Bethenny's book. We'll have some replays of this starting from next weekend, and I'm titling it School of Life. At the introduction here, we talked about the fact that business is life, life is business. So we could call this a business school just as much as we can call it a school of life. I've chosen to call it a school of life, right? The last series, we used the word self-development, but this series will take the tag school of life. And I hope it blesses you. I hope you get something to learn to help you do life, do life more efficiently, with happiness and joy. Right? That's the only reason we're going to do this, is to do life together. Right? I'm gonna knock on 55 in a few days from now, probably the next 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm gonna be 55. Right? I have learned something by reason of the passage of life. I am no more a child. I'm no more a child by any metric you want to put it. Right? I've been married the last 24 years. It'll be 25 years come April. Right? My kids are all grown, all young adults. I have learned something by reason of passage of life, and it's not for me to just keep it to myself. It's the intent as we come here, to share fellowship, is to share with you, right, as many as might be interested, what I've learned by reason of my pilgrimage of life. Even as we read the book, as I share it with you, I'm also telling myself, I'm sharing with myself. The first listener to everything I say is myself, right? So I'm being selfish. This is a way of teaching myself. I'm number one student in this whole thing, right? As I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. So I'm rehashing the occurrence of life, experience of life, and reminding myself, as it were, making those words to become flesh for me, so that the experience of life, is not a waste. At the same time, I'm learning new things. I'm not saying this all from myself. We're learning from Bethenny as we go through our book, and every other person she's spoken with, we're learning her wisdom. As I prepare for this, also, I get to look at some of the materials, right? So I'm also learning, reminding myself of the things I already know and learning new things, So don't feel I'm not doing it just because of you. I'm doing this primarily for myself, right? And hoping that every other person or any other person can learn from it, right? So this is a selfish act, as it were, to bless me. I'm just hoping someone else gets blessed, as I get blessed. So thanks for those of you that get to tune in, whatever life, I'd have loved to do this on Instagram, but one day I'll get it right on Instagram. Not being able to do any recording on direct live recording on Instagram yet, but very soon I'll get to that. But now at least I seem to have a good handle on YouTube, so we'll progress, it only gets better, So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna bring up my slides here. I'm gonna go into chapter 2. Last week we did the first part of chapter 2, and we spoke about the importance of being intentional. And we learned from Bethenny. She had those 4 things, right? She said, she shared with us 4 things, as the way by which we can learn intentionality. It says intentionality is made up of 4 parts. So let's do that before I go into the slide. Let's take it from that book. So last week we talked about, she called it the power of four. So this is on page 24 of the book. She called it the power of four. He says, I think of intention as having four distinct important parts. Number one, she said that if you're intentional, then there's a part to intentionality of being deliberate. You cannot be intentional and not be deliberate. For you to be intentional means that you are deliberate about the thing you are intentional about, right? And she says that being deliberate is attention to the matter at hand, right? If I'm intentional, that means you're deliberate about the thing you're being deliberate about, right? Which is the matter at hand, right? It's a focus on the work you are doing without distraction, and to be done better and more efficiently, right? If you're focused on it, to be done better and more efficiently. And that's what I try to do. This week, past week I just came in, was pretty busy for me, pretty busy on several fronts, right? I'm working closing, doing my external audit of my business, preparing for an estate management committee that I'm a part of, trying to close out some things and that, along with all the other things I get to do, and I love the way I was able to do it, because I tried to be focused so that I could get the best out of each one. I pretty much prioritized it, even though I had so much to do, and I still have some of them I've not done, but I will do. I have to prioritize them as far as in terms of importance, and in terms of immediacy, as it were, right? Everything was important, but then I had to keep them weight as per time of due expiry and things like that, right? So I pretty much was taking them off one by one, right? I've taken off the things I've taken off, and the things I've not taken off, I know them and I'm going to heed them, but that helped. That was something me practicalizing being focused. And in terms of being focused, I was able to give it my best for each one that I did, right? They're the ones I have not done, and that's a commitment I made to myself a while ago, right? The way hurry would say is a demon, right? When you are in a hurry, you are going to miss issues of life, right? Hurry is not of God, right? I love my what's his name? Willard Dallas, right? It's an old minister now in seminary, and he had that. Was he? Yeah, he had that quote where he says, "Ori, is a demon." It's not that it's of the devil; it's a demon itself. When you're always in a hurry concerning your life, you're gonna miss the salient issues of life. Anytime you're in a hurry, there's confusion, there's turmoil on the inside. You're not able to hear your intuition. You're not able to hear God on the inside, because there's so much commotion. There's no calmness. You need calmness to be able to hear God, right? To be able to hear your gut feeling, to be able to hear your intuition, right? So when you're in a hurry, you're in a state of flux. You're in a state where you cannot get the best done, right? You're not in the most productive state when you are in a hurry, So I try not to be in a hurry concerning things. I made a commitment that I'd rather take loss than allow things to get me in a hurry or confused or anxious, right? And I take loss, means sometimes I don't make some payments and whatever it is I paid, but I value my peace and my calmness, my stillness, my being in control more than I value, what it might cost me to be in that state, So like this week where I had a lot of things to do, I had to prioritize them, right? Be willing to take a loss, for the things that don't get done, early, just to be able to get me ticking things off, right? There are some things I need to do this week, because there are penalties around them and they probably affect other people, so they come bubble up, right, in my schedule, starting from today, through the week, but I hope you learned something from that. But I live my life not to be in a hurry, right? I'd rather take a loss than to get myself agitated and in a hurry, because hurry is not of God. Hurry is a demon. Hurry comes to take from you, not to give to you, right? So that's the first point that she had there in talking about the power of being deliberate, right? And number two is talks about clarity, right? It says that for you to be intentional, you need to have clarity, right? You need to know what you're doing, right? You don't go into something and you don't understand the factors, right? You don't understand the factors. You don't understand what are the benefits? What are you losing? What are you gaining? And that brings to mind a meeting I was in yesterday. I'm part of some estate management committee, and yesterday was one of those low days, right? And we're trying to make a decision, and people bring their emotions to bear. They're not bringing facts to the table, right? Because they've had issues and the things we're trying to decide at some point in their life. That's all they can think about. They can think about where it's working. They just think about where it's not working, right? A particular estate, it's not working for them, but they share fence with another estate where it's working. Instead of them to learn from that estate where it's working, they are blaming what they should not blame. It's so sad, so sad. You have people talking about the government, but they're doing the exact same thing. Man, it's a shame. To be in a place where people are not objective but just subjective. It's a shame. But let's go on. So it talks about clarity, right? It's the need to be clear. If you're not clear, then you don't get the power of intentionality. When you're intentional, you're clear about what you're doing. You're clear about your value drivers. You're clear about what am I gaining, what am I losing, and you're making an intelligent decision. You're taking an intelligent step towards what you're doing. So, Bethenny writes, it says clarity about what needs to be accomplished in each area of life. Yeah, right. You know and understand all the tasks necessary to get to the finish line, right? So then number three, she talks about the word conscious, right? Conscious, the word conscious also is a word being present, right? And that's one of the things that takes our power, in a sense. It gives more, it's a place of being present, right? It probably talks more about the focus, right? Because if you're not present, you cannot be focused, right? If you're not present, then your unconsciousness is the one that is bearing rule, right? So whatsoever it is that is stored up there, right, is what is bearing rule, right? Whatsoever it's stored up there, if you did not store anything intentionally positive there, the negative will take control, right? So if you're not intentional, if you're not conscious, right, if you're not present in the moment, what you're still going to believe in, and what's going to believe in is whatever is in your subconsciousness, right? That's the same thing we talk about, right? You set out to go somewhere, but while you're going, your mind is off the road. You're thinking about something else, but somehow you find yourself where you were going. That is because while you were not conscious of the journey, your subconsciousness was consciously taking you, right? You were driving knowing what was going on, but it wasn't your consciousness that was taking you. It was your unconsciousness, which is a store of the fact that you have been there before. So whatever storage inside your unconsciousness took over when you were not conscious of the journey, right? The challenge is a function of whatever it is that you've stored there. If you've stored positive there, you will get positive. If you've stored negative in your unconsciousness, that's what you will get. If you have not done any recent work to do a house cleaning of your unconsciousness, it will be the stories of life that you've told yourself, right? Whether it's your upbringing, your family, your society, some incident in your life, whatever interpretation you gave to that story, right? That is what you're going to believe in at that point in time when you're not conscious. So when you're intentional, you're conscious. When you're conscious, you override your subconsciousness, right? When you're conscious, you are in control. When you're not conscious, your unconsciousness is in control, right? So it's up to you to decide what you want to live in the moment, right? So the intentional takes you to use your conscious mind, right? Which involves your willpower, right? You thinking and looking at the facts at hand, right? So says conscious planning of steps needed to get there. So you're consciously planning what it takes to get there. Like I said, that's what was missing in the meeting yesterday. I mean, these guys are just talking from their emotions, right? It's a shame that adults will not look at facts, and it's a shame. Anyways, conscious planning of steps needed to get there. How will you accomplish your goals? Gather your thoughts before you begin on walking towards the goal. Yes, you may need to revise as you go, but you can only know correction, modifications if you have thought the journey through. Just to rehash what some of the things we spoke along that last week is the fact that, when we plan, it's not because we think that everything will happen the way we planned it. No. There's that popular quote by the Prussian 17th century Prussian general, and also quoted by Desert Fox, was the Field Marshal, Java Field Marshal. The first thing that will happen when your plan hits reality is that it will find out that it needs to change, right? But it is better for you to have a plan than for you not to have a plan, right? When you have a plan and you're planned, when you hit reality, it's easier to modify a plan you have than to just start planning at the time reality hits you. That is the difference. I mean, reality will never match one-to-one your planning scenario. That is okay. But some people don't plan just because of that. That's foolishness, right? Because it's better to have a plan you can adjust than to start planning just when reality hits, right? You're going to lose a lot. You're not going to plan well, because if you do that, you get into what we call a tunnel vision, right? When you are in crisis, right, and you're trying to plan in crisis, your brain locks up to whatsoever it hits first. We'll call it tunnel vision. You begin then justifying that part that your brain has hit because of the environment, the fear, the danger, right? We'll call it tunnel vision. Whatever tunnel that your brain hits might not be the right part, right? Might just be doing all the stupid things because your brain will justify it because of the panic situation around. And that's why a lot of people die more from fear than the actual incident when there's a crisis, right? It's just like we had when the Twin Towers, right, were hit by those planes. You had people jumping from windows. Why would people jump from windows? Because they did not have an emergency plan in their head. So their brain just said, all right, better to jump out through the window. They just jumped to their death, right? They could have looked for some way, right? If they had what we call scenario planning, right, which is part of what we do, part of the emergency management plan. You will call them drills, right? You do scenario planning. If this happens, what will we do? If that happens, what will we do? When you have that in your mental model, it's easier to key into that mental model, which is a plan, right? Than you start planning just when the crisis hits, because it's called tunnel vision, right? You once you get into that tunnel, you don't look at facts anymore, right? It's like people that go into arguments, right? They don't look at facts. It's all about win. At that point in time, you're trying to win with yourself, right? But then you might just be locked into the wrong role, and you begin to make one mistake on top of the other, right? It doesn't get you into safety, right? But when you plan, you do scenario planning, right? You have mental models of what I might do. If this happens, what do I do? If that happens, what do I do? It's easier to make adjustment to that mental model than just planning when crisis hits you, right? That is the power of having a plan, right? And that's what Bethenny is saying here in number 3, being conscious, your consciousness, right? It's planning. Look at all the issues and looking at what was the best part, and that is best done before crisis hits, before reality hits, right? Again, we'll talk about that when we talk about money, right? We'll say the best time to have a budget, right, is before the money comes. Once the money hits you, right, the spirit of money is taking over you at that point in time, right? When the spirit of money takes over you, you cannot have a good plan. You're going to have to come into a tunnel vision also, right? Because the spirit of money has hit you. The best time to plan for money is before that money hits your hand, right? That is what budget is. Budget is not what you do after the money has hit your hand, right? Right? People can call that budget, but that you don't have the fullness of the power of budgeting. Right? The fullness of the power of budgeting comes when you don't have the emotion of the money. You're expecting money plan. Do a plan for it, right? When you don't have it in your hands yet. So that as soon as you have it in your hand, you begin to execute your plan. Yes, you might make one or two adjustments to your plan, but at least you have something to adjust. But if you don't have a plan at all, I can almost assure you, you're not going to spend that money well, right? Because you've been making emotional decisions, right? Money has emotions. Money is a spirit, right? So the way we control the spirit and the emotion of money is having a budget, and that budget is best done before the money comes into your hands, right? So another reason why we need to be conscious, right, in intentionality, right? It's about planning, right? And lastly, number 4, Mark talks about ruthlessness, right? It says ruthlessness about the use of time needed to accomplish the goals. Use your time wisely. It's precious, right? It's just being ruthless, being serious about the use of time, right? Time is the most precious resource, right? It's okay to lose money. You can get the money back. I can tell you that for sure. I've been too depressed. I've lost a lot of money, but I made them more back. But making money is not a problem. What you don't get is a life. You can get a life back, right? You can get a life back. If you miss your childhood, you can never get it back, right? Michael Jackson tried to do it, would never learn and all of that. But the way life is, you can't get it back, right? So it's better to take a risk than to live in regret, right? If there's something you're hard to do, go ahead and do it, right? Just do your planning, do your checks, make sure that it's legal, it's moral, right? And if that's what your heart is set on doing, it's better to do it and know that I did it and failed, or rather than live all your life saying, what would have happened if I did it? That's all still going about what we did last week. Wow, that's taking more than half of the time we have together. Let's see how we'll go looking at this week's topic, which is continuing the second part of that chapter, right? I'm going to bring up the slides right now, and we're going to look at that. Let me shoot up my slide here. I'm going to share that right now. Great. I can see you all can see my slides, right? So still on that book, Business is Personal, right? And she summarizes the book, says the truth about what it takes to be successful while staying true to yourself. Pretty much ties with what the word of God talks about. God was talking to Joshua. He says, you will have good success, not just success, but good success, right? It's about making it in life without losing yourself, without losing yourself. That's what we talk about when we say that. I love the way James C. Collins talks about it. It says, talks about the genius of the hand, A-N-D, and the tyranny of the whole. Most people would say, and this is what we, ignorant people, ignoramus will tell you, you can either be rich or go to heaven. You can either be rich or be righteous. Those are immature people, immature minds, lazy people, right? It's not about hall, it's about hand. You can be rich and be righteous. You can go to heaven and be wealthy. You can be successful and be a good person. You don't have to be a bad person to be successful, right? That's true. That's where life runs. Right? It's not easy. I don't spend time here telling you about things that are easy. I don't do it easy. I do possible. I don't do easy, I do possible. It is not easy, but it is possible. And that's why I do it, right? I don't do easy. Nothing I do is easy. I do it because it's possible, right? It's possible to be rich, very rich, and be a good person. You can have both of them. It's not a whole, it's a hand, right? That's what the book is about. And we'll talk about this being a school of life. We're going to learn life principles that make that possible, right? So that's a book, again, just like I have a whole copy out here, and just looking at our schedule, right? So I was thinking we're going to take three meetings to finish chapter 2, but I was set to finish chapter 2 today, but I spent more than half of our time together, just rehashing what we did last week. So we'll see if we can finish it. If not, we'll finish it next week, so if we finish it next week, we'll go to chapter 3 next week. Maybe we'll do that in 2 weeks. Chapter 4 in 2 weeks. Then we'll take a break, Christmas, New Year, and come back on the 8th of January with chapter 5. So let's see what we can get out of this today. So what we're going to talk about today, first of all, part of it is, this whole chapter is talking about the intersection between intentionality and luck. And last week I said luck or serendipity is universe or God reward for those that are intentional, those that do the right thing, those that are proactive, those that live life the way it should be lived. Luck, what you call luck, is a reward. The universe rewards you with luck. Everyone calls it luck, right? But it is not luck. It is a reward for your being diligent, for your being intentional, for your being conscious, for your being committed, for your being diligent. What people call luck is the reward of the universe, is God's reward for you doing the right thing, living life the right way, right? Also, we'll call it serendipity, right? Try and define luck a bit, right? Saying it's, something you don't expect about luck, but you can make it happen. You just have to follow the principles of success. Those that find luck on their ways because they followed the right principle, right? They follow the footpath of those that have made it, and luck keep them on the way, right? Luck will not meet you when you sit down being idle. Luck will not meet you when you're down there being depressed, and being, oh, sorry me, or you sit down waiting for some destiny help to come and help you. That's stupid. That's a, you have to step out. You have to do all that you can do with all that you have, right? When you do what you can do with what you have, luck will meet your way. A teacher will appear, a helper will appear, because God only supports those that are busy. God only supports those that are using already what they have, right? Not waiting for, just like the parable was seen of the talents. And the guy went to bury it. God didn't meet him on the way. He didn't make anything. He was a wasteful person, right? But the other people sold what they had, and they got more. And to them, more was given. But to the one that did not use well what he has, even that which he has was taken away from him, right? So that's a summary, for the chapter. But what I want to talk about here is the fact that you must get on the right road, right? It's not just about getting out, but you must know where to get out to, right? It's that popular saying would say, fish where the fish are. And your fish, my fish are different. So it's your fish we're talking about. So you have to also know what is the fish that I'm gunning for in life, right? What is the product I'm gunning for in life? What is the market segment I'm gunning for in life? What are the people I'm gunning for in life? That determines where I go to meet them, right? You cannot go to A when your fish is in B, right? You have to target your market segment. You have to know your market segment. I love it. One of my mentees, I'll call him, right? Mike, out in the UK right now, studying, and he was just giving an example of market segmentation. And he was even lecturing, helping his own professor. Professor had written a book, and she said the book is for everybody. And she wasn't making sales because she wrote a book for everybody. Because first of all, our book was expensive. Not everybody can afford it. Not everybody will understand what she's written. Not everybody's really interested in what she has written, right? So she was just helping her, get more sales on our book by saying you need to target the right audience. First of all, you have to determine who are the people that you are targeting. What's the purpose? What's the intent of your book, right? And he was having to help, because don't forget again, it's because knowledge is not power. You might know everything you need to know in this life is useless. It's your ability to use it that makes a difference. It is applied power, knowledge that is power. Knowledge, just in your head, is potential power. Real power is your ability to use it, your ability to apply it in the issues of life. That is when power is exerted, right? So you need to know what is it that you're targeting, and that needs to be your focus. That's where you need to go, right? So it's about taking your marketing message or whatever it is you want to sell to the market, take it to the market where the buyers want to buy the buyers are interested in what you have to sell, right? So you need to know. And that's what we're going to talk about, your purpose. You need to know your purpose. You need to know what you're trying to target. What's your vision? What's your mission, right? That's important. A lot of people go about life, they don't know the vision or mission they have for their lives. And they're just shooting blanks, right? They're wondering why they're not succeeding. You're not succeeding because you don't know your vision. You don't have a vision. You don't have a mission. You're trying to do everything. You're doing the follow the followers game, right? So there's no differentiation, and people are wondering, why should I buy from you when I can buy from that? It's probably cheaper, easier. I'm friendlier to this person. You don't have a brand because you're just doing what every other person is doing. So yeah. So first thing, like I said, is you need to know your market. You need to know your customers. You need to know what you want to achieve, right? You need to have a vision, for yourself. For instance, I started this farm business, right? And I had to step back and ask myself, what was the vision for it? What's the mission? What are we trying to accomplish? And I get more clarity as I was preparing for this, even on that, even though I'd done the groundwork, I had to set my mind right for a vision. We're not just into farming, we're in farming for a reason, right? The first reason is we want to change lives. Right, we already set as a goal to modernize the village where our farm is, right? So we're modernizing the village, right? So we're farmers, but we're farmers for a reason, for a purpose, not just for farming, not just to make money, but the impact that we're set to do by reason of that, right? I already told the village, hey, I ain't gonna bring more money here. It's gonna have to be what we make here that we're gonna use to develop you guys, right? I've gone ahead to put a seed on ground. I've given them a borehole, right? But the plan is we'll make money and we use that money to develop the village, to develop the people, to change their lives. That's the intent that we have, in that, right? So, so I had to set a goal, right? I didn't want to set a goal for just money. Money is useless, right? Money is useless. You can't eat money, right? Money is only good for the things money can do. If all you're chasing is after money, you're not going to have energy, right? You need to set your mind on what is it that money can do that I want money for, right? For us, is we have to change lives, right? Modernize that village and also affect other lives, right? I already spoken to different other people that hopefully if we make money, we'll change lives, right? We've started an NGO, we've registered an NGO for just that purpose, right? To change lives, to affect people's life, to leave a dent of our existence in this life, right? We're investing in farming, but it's not for farming, but it's to be able to change lives, right? So that's our vision, right? So our mission is to change lives, right? Yeah, our vision is I see those people being developed, right? Being helped, and our mission is just in that line, to change lives, to affect lives, and you need to have one. So every decision we make is around that. I'm putting a lot of money into this, right, as an investment. This is not a small business, and it's not small scale, right? By no way is it small with all that I've invested into it. But it's because I see a picture that is bigger than what most people can see, right? I see that impact that we're intended to have, right? You need to have that. That gives you energy. That helps you to be faithful, to be committed in what you're doing, right? So the journey doesn't take care of itself. You have to plan it. That's what John Maxwell tells us, right? None of this will take care of itself, right? I have to plan for it, right? People get surprised as I deplete money and more money appears, right? It's because I have to plan for it, right? I have to take some risk, because I have a vision, I have a mission, right? It's not going to take care of itself. It's not going to do all of that itself. My farm manager would want me to have a vehicle for him right now, but he has no clue, what the total plan is and what money availability is, right? I know what is coming. I need to plan it such that we finish the project. We don't get halfway and we're stuck. Right. So I know where the money's coming from. I know what has been taken, and I have to do the planning. I have to define the cash flow planning. I keep on ringing that we need to make money. We're not right now. The little we're making, with the immediate market cannot give us what we want, but we have a plan for it. We have a plan for it. We have a plan to go to the market where we will make a difference, right? It's not appearing right now, but there is a plan for it, right? Nothing is given to you. You need to reach for it and keep it by choice, right? Nothing is given to you on the plot of gold. You have to have a plan and you have to execute the plan, right? And a lot of people see me and probably say, he's blessed, he's this. It doesn't come by chance. It takes planning. It takes sacrifice, right? I was sharing with a friend of mine. We're planning some interview coming soon on my life, and I just telling him all the things I got to do, right? And he was just saying that, oh, why don't you do less? I said, hey, all that I do make me me. They make me happy, right? They are my calling. I don't just do them because I do them. I do them because they come from who I am, right? I don't do the things that don't come from who I am. Yeah, I do some things for leisure, all of that, but things I do by choice also that I can get rid of if I have to, because I'm on a continuous prioritizing, right? Prioritizing based on my vision, my mission, right? So, but all that I have to be conscious of it. I have to plan, I have to make decisions, right? And so every David Thoreau puts it this way: says, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. You have a dream, go in that direction. Don't wait for the dream to come to you. You go towards the dream, right? Have a dream, go towards the dream. Your dream might not necessarily happen today, but take the first step. The journey of 1,000,000 miles starts with the first step. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. You don't take the first step, you will not get there. You have to start, right? We started buying farmlands here last year. We're already more than 1 year, already 1.5 years on that, right? We only started yesterday, right? It's already 1.5 years before long over 2 years, right? I was supposed to go out to Botswana this year. I didn't get to do it. Hopefully I get to do it next year because I want to do some business out there also. I want to buy farmland out there and probably get into real estate out in Botswana. I do have a goddaughter out there, That's part of the plan. It's part of my dream. I'm going to work towards it, right? I'm going to work towards it. I'm going to possess my possession, right? I'm not going to wait for it to come to me, right? If the mountain won't go to Muhammad, Muhammad needs to go to the mountain, right? Mountains don't come to you, you go to the mountain, right? And that's it about your dream. If you have a dream, start pushing towards it. Stop sitting down waiting for some miracles, destiny help, or whatever. Start doing what you can do today, marching, taking steps towards it, right? That's the way life runs, right? As you take steps towards the universe will reward you. The universe will reward you. The universe will not reward someone that is sitting down doing nothing. The universe will reward someone that is moving in the direction of his dream, direction of his or her vision, right? Alrighty, talking along this line, when you are intentional about an idea, you become more open to creative and unconventional ways of bringing it to pass. And when you're consumed by your dream and you're committed to it, which we'll see in Murray's quote that follows, the universe has a way of rewarding you. I get a post every morning, and I get surprised how things just match up. Just like this morning, I was posting about pain this morning, and somehow I could just see the hand of God working with me, because before I got to what I want to post, I got this, which goes with that. Things were just falling in line, right? It wasn't as if I heard a voice. It wasn't as if God told me what to do, but I could see the hand of God working along with me, right? When I took the first step, I took this first step out there to bless people, and God was just working along with me, taking one step at a time, bringing the right word, the right picture to use, right? That is how life is. That's what life is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a partnership with the universe, a partnership with God, right? We're here to show forth God. We're here to glorify God. God takes pleasure when we begin to lead, when we lead the essence of our creation, right? He partners with us when we lead the essence of our creation, right? So, and that's what Murray was saying here. He said, until one commits or until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness, right? When you don't commit, there's always an excuse. There's a reason you have excuse to give, right? Concerning all acts of initiative or creation, there's one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. The moment one definitely commits oneself, the moment you definitely commit oneself, saying, this is what I would do. This is what I would do. I'm not seeing any other option. I'm going out in faith, right? We did a farm. Some people went there and said, oh, it's too far. It's too inside. It's too that. It's too that. No, but we're committed. We're committed to do it. We're committed to change lives. We're committed to leave our dent in this life. We're committed to make a difference. We're committed to bring God's glory to bear. Because we have committed, the moment you definitely commit, then providence moves. When you commit, God moves. When you commit, the universe supports you, right? When you commit, God moves. When you commit, the universe supports you, right? Then providence moves to all sorts of things occur to help one that will never otherwise have occurred. When you commit, the universe moves. When you commit, the universe commits. When you commit, the universe commits. And for those of us that are Christians, the Bible says, draw near to me, and I will draw near to you. It didn't say I will draw near to you, then you will draw near to me. It says, you draw near to me, then I will draw near to you. When you commit, I will commit. When you commit, I will commit. When you take the first step, I will back you up. I will support you, right? So we think we're waiting on God. No. God is waiting on us. You think you're waiting for the universe to support you? No. The universe is waiting on you, right? You are the reason why you are where you are. You are the reason why there will be a change in your life, or there will not be a change in your life. You are the reason for your bank statement. You are the reason for your net worth, right? It's a statement showing your level of commitment, right? Your level of commitment, and it can be better. It's all up to you to catch a vision, catch a dream, right? Just to bring Mike, he doesn't know I'm saying this. He'll probably end up hearing this like everyone else, he committed, they wanted to go study, right? And against all odds, he's there doing it, and it's making a difference, right? It's making a difference, right? He's leaving his footprint there from the very first day. 2 weeks, he's done a lot, so good. Anyways, let's move on. The other part to it is, as you go to where your customers are, you need to be clear your purpose, right? Your why, right? Your why, which is your vision, your purpose, or your vision, your mission, like we just said. But you must know the reason why you're doing what you're doing. For me, I'd said it's change lives. So when I'm planting pineapple, I'm seeing beyond pineapple. I'm seeing pineapple that will be sold, that will have enough returns to change lives. I'm sowing plantain that will have enough returns to change life. I'm sowing cassava that will have enough returns to change life. I am sowing pepper that will have enough returns to change lives. You see, that is my vision, that is my mission. That is why I'm doing it. That is why I'm doing it. So it affects the way I make decisions. It affects the amount of risk I'm willing to take, right? Because I know why I'm doing it, right? I'm seeing beyond the today, right, to the tomorrow, right? I'm thinking about how I'm going to develop that place. I'm going to do the road, right? I'm going to visit soon. We're going to talk about how to do the road, right? The road will help me, the business, but it will help the people also. The only reason I'm thinking of doing it is not just for the business, but it's part of the impact that we're going to leave in that place, right? So it affects the decisions that I make, right? So you must know the reason why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you here? What's the purpose for your life? Why are you here? Are you here just to make money? That's all. We're not here just to make money. That's why I could make that decision in putting a whole lot of money. I've been told not to mention money, online, but I'm putting a whole lot of money from my savings, right, into this because of the purpose, the vision, the mission I've already set for myself as a result of doing this, right? So if you don't have a purpose, you don't have a vision, you don't have a mission, you'll be handicapped. You just playing the followers game, do what every other person is doing, right? Napoleon Hill goes ahead and so I love that. Napoleon Hill is one of my mentors, right? And one of the people you will see behind me, when I talk. Like I said, when I talk, I have 1,001 people that are standing behind me when I talk. People I've gleaned from, people I've learned from. And Napoleon Hill is one of those, right? He says there's one quality that one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, right? If you don't have a definite purpose, the reason why you're doing something, you'll be distracted. You'll be carried away by what other people are doing. Napoleon says there is one attribute you must possess. You must be definite about your purpose. Because when you know your purpose, right, and you have and you also have a burning desire to possess it, you're almost guaranteed success, right? So if you're going to win, you must be definite about the reason why you do what you do, and then you give your whole to it. It will make a difference in your life. Permit me to take 2 seconds to welcome Kevin. Kevin, how are you doing?
I'm fine, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Well done. All right. We have 2 more slides to go. You're welcome. All right. So talking about purpose here is when you're clear on your life purpose, you'll be dedicated to fulfilling it. Right. If you're clear on the reason why you're doing something, then it's easy to fulfill it because you can see a picture. What you are clear on, you can see a picture of it, and it becomes your vision, what you're seeing. And what you see, you are attracted towards. You are drawn to what you see, right? What you see becomes bigger to you. You are drawn to it. It's called the law of attraction, right? You're drawn to what you see. So if your vision is visible, it's clear, you are drawn to it. You're drawn to it by a force. We call the force of the universe or the force of nature, right? Which means that ideas, resources, human, monetarily, everything will come to you to make it happen, right? When you're looking at it, there's an attraction, and that attraction is enabled by the force of nature. He will provide the resource to bring you to it, right? So when you have a clarity of purpose, you as the way you turn a key in the universe for the resources that are needed to make it happen, right? So when you're committed leads to determination, which leads to, success, right? So those are just quotes there also from Bethenny. If you promote the things that make your business stand out, then you bring people, towards you. When the goal matters enough to a person, that person will find a way to accomplish it, right? Yeah. So let me give 2 seconds there. So Kevin, are you clear? You have a purpose for your life. Do you know your purpose for your life as a whole? You have a purpose for who you are.
Yes, to some extent, I do. But one thing I keep discovering is that as I go, I tend to get a broader perspective.
Absolutely. You have to start from somewhere. God doesn't even work with you telling you everything that he wants to do with you. He tells you enough that you can handle at each point in time, right? And as you're faithful in one, it gives you a better, bigger picture. It's your faithfulness that opens the next page, right? So your life is a book. You only know so many pages about that book. There are a lot of pages that you don't know, but you will not get to other pages if you're not faithful in the one you are in right now. Your faithfulness in what you are in right now is what opens the next page, right? His faithfulness in this page will open the next page. If you're not faithful here, you'll be on that page maybe for the rest of your life, right? Because there's no opening for another page until you have passed the exam on this page, right? So yeah, the important thing is to have one, not to have a perfect one. You have one to start with, and it only gets better as you're committed to it, right? So I don't know if you got the part I was talking about, what the vision and mission is for us as a farm, So what do you think is the reason why we're into farming?
Okay. I was not there when you were saying that, but from the question, from the which you have been able to understand, yes, apart from a business venture as making profit, it's also to improve and impact the life of persons around the communities. That's what I understand as the mission for the business and the farm so far.
Well, you got it. It was like you were here when I was saying it. Exactly what I said.
I was not here, but
I know. I'm just saying that. Yeah, you're right on the money. Exactly what it is. It's making money. Money itself is useless. You don't eat money. Money is useless on its own. It's what money can do that is important. We don't make money for money. We make money for what money can do. If you don't define well what you want that money to do, you'll become vain around it. It will not make you happy. You won't have a good success. You can make all the money in the world, but you will not be happy. Right? Joy, happiness comes from what money can do and what money does, not money itself. So that's why a lot of these government people are stealing money, because they have no clue about what they don't have any vision. They have any mission. All they know is they want to accumulate. So much they go and bury it because they have no clue what the power of money or the essence of money is. Money is useless. You can't eat money. Money is only good for what it can do, not money itself, right? So that's why we set a vision that to improve lives, right? To make lives better, to leave an impact in the life of people, starting from our operating community or communities, to also impacting people in other places. That's why we have an NGO, right? It's for that intent. So we're making money for that purpose, and that's why we make the kind of decisions that we make. That's why we do the kind of projects that we do, because we don't see ourselves as small farmers. Don't see ourselves as just making little money. We're seeing ourselves as making enough money to make a difference in people's lives, So so keep that at the back of your mind. That would help you understand some of the decisions I make. They sometimes you might not understand them, but if you look at them in the light of that, it will help you understand, right? Yeah, so going to the last slide here, just talking about a bit of all what we have said so far also, is the fact that when you know your purpose and you know the reason why you're doing what you're doing, when you know the vision, the mission, it helps you to make decisions. When things are missed, that will drive the way you make your decisions. It will tell you the things you can do, the things you cannot do, the things you should do, the things you should not do, right? So that's we're not like every other person, right? So if some people are doing things this way, we might not necessarily do it that way, because we have a vision, we have a mission, we have a reason why we do what we're doing. So we'll only do it that way if it aligns with our vision, our mission, our purpose, our intent, right? So I'm trying to think of an example here, but or not is readily coming to mind, but that helps us in making decisions. Example, we're trying to plant pineapple here. We're here for the long term. We're not here for just what we plant today, reap 30 more, 3 months. No, we're here for a very long time. So we're putting a footprint there for a long time. So that affects the way we make decisions, our investment plan. We're not here just for the short term. We're here for the long term, right? Indefinite long term, So that's why we can talk about doing pineapple that would harvest in 2-3 years. Talk about palm kernel that would take so long. As much as we do the ones that are short term also, right? So we're here to make money for the intent of changing lives, right? So we're not here looking for small money. To be able to do what we're trying to do, we need big money. We do understand that the immediate market we have right now won't help us in that venture, but that is only a challenge for now. So we do have a plan to be able to go to the right markets to make a difference, right? So it's all in a plan. It's putting what you want with the reality on ground also. It's all part of the plan. Any question for me on all that?
Not really. I think one of the points that stands out in not just doing what others do, like you mentioned, for the consideration of the impact on the community is also very important. Okay, absolutely. I don't know if I can share. It's the decision of the feeling, the topography of the ground, the nature of the ground for the place, the site, the poultry farm. It's very slopey, and one of the advice for some persons was that we get a piece of land and dig the feeding, the laterites, in using to feed instead of spending that much in the purchase of laterite. So when I put up the suggestion to you, the first thing you said was the impact on the community itself, not just seeing the escape way out of not spending that amount of money. What is that depth of, because digging deep into the ground to get laterite is going to cause a way of a hollow ground in that place. So you are looking at the impact of that particular place, spot, on the community, not just looking at it as a way of reducing the expense you're going to make. So that's really one of the pictures that really changed my perspective. Or I kept looking at, it's really changed my orientation on things. That's why it stood out, and I can mention that now.
Great. Yeah. We have to be guided by that. And that's also, yeah. That's why that's important, having a mission, a vision. We could easily take the shortcut and bought land and evacuate all of that and get quick money. But we lose nature's support. We lose God's support. God will not back something that is not done out of love. God will not back something that is done out of fear, right? So as much as we want to do this, being Christians that we are also, we want to do it in a way that brings reverence to God, whereas it were in God's stead, right? So we want the support of heaven, we want the support of nature, we want the support of the universe, and there are laws that are in place that makes that possible. So when we key into those laws, they work for us. When we do things out of fear and we go against those laws, they're going to go against us. So yeah. Just to add to what you said, you get that?
Yes, I get it.
All right, that's all I have for today. I'm done. I'm gonna try and make it to my parents' house today. Last week I didn't get a vehicle to go. All the boats that I called were canceling. I guess the traffic was bad. So I'm trying to see if I can do it today.
All right, sir. Have a safe trip.
We'll do. I'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye.